All right. So listen, normally we share our like takeaways. I think we need to jump into our next guest and maybe we can do the takeaways at the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that work?
Works fine for me.
Is our guest here?
Yeah, he's absolutely here.
Want me to do a little intro? Or
I'm looking at him right now, and I was calling him the Beast in Business, but I noticed the shirt said the Savage in Business. So we'll
okay, so I will introduce the Savage. Thank you for the inside tip because I can't see him backstage.
Okay.
So
no worries at all.
So he's a Savage. So he's the Savage in Business today?
Yes.
Okay.
Always he is.
Always the Savage in Business. Okay, always. We haven't met yet, so I'm excited to meet him.
100%.
But I do know a little bit about this Savage in Business coach, broker of certainty and entrepreneur. A broker of certainty. Like, come on, that is powerful right there. That is incredible. Mitch has a simple life mission. Even though he's the broker of certainty, you have to be certain when you're simple because simple is not always easy. And his simple life mission is amazing lives are extraordinary businesses. He's a business coach for over 300 extraordinary business owners, mentors to thousands of growing people. Mitch's career includes highlights like Blue Talks. So good to have you, Mitch. Undisputed Mastery, syndicate.org, and multi-speaker events across Canada and the US. He's a visionary. Okay. He's the visionary of Mitch Cambridge Coaching and syndicate.org, Savage in Business. I will tell you this, he's a father and a husband driven to build global impact. There he is, Mitch. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Great to have you on.
Great to be on. Thank you. Corey, as always, brother, you and I just shared the virtual stage not 4 days ago. This is 100%. Outstanding. Absolutely.
Oh, well, I'm glad I got you in within the 40.
Absolutely. Ilyse, great to see you there. Absolutely stoked to be coming on, and thank you for the introduction. So, Corey,
well, I haven't finished yet, but I'm going to let you take over, dude. You go for it.
I'll let you finish. You get your time too. So.
Well, I just want to tell you, I just want to like add the last thing that you are anything less is unacceptable, and anything less of what. This is really important because this is your philosophy of how you see business. It needs to be simple in its design, which I believe is a really important concept, right? Elegant in operation and repeatable in systems, right? And anything less.
Not acceptable.
Not acceptable.
Unacceptable.
Unacceptable to the Savage in Business. So Mitch, now it's all you. What'd you say, Corey?
Okay, so we'll let Mitch take it away then, Mitch?
Yeah.
Guys, so thank you for bringing me on. And when we reached out, and of course, when we were talking about this ahead of time, it had really to do with business, of course, because that's what I do all day, every day, is talk to business owners about the one thing that probably is keeping up late at night, wakes them up early in the morning, and really does not do them any favors. Business fails a lot, and it fails because we don't do what we're supposed to do in business, and that is to simplify it. Okay, and we're simple in its design, elegant in its systems, and repeatable processes means that things should not be very complex. There should be very few moving parts. They should work very, very well and very elegantly. And of course, which means that when they work all the time, whether they're under pressure, under stress, or of course, whether it's just a good day and it's something that I really like to do. And then repeatable means that if I can do it, can I translate it and educate other people about it? So for businesses, we're in the midst of a global pandemic. We're in the midst of something that we have never in our lifetime viewed and seen, but thanks to the advent of these things, we're also able to share in a way that's never occurred for the very first time. So that has shifted the way we do business. But businesses, when we talk simple, are only just a few parts. Now, most of us get into business because we are probably good at something. We're an accountant, or we're a welder, or we're a carpenter, or we're a general contractor, or we're a bookkeeper, or we're, let's say a sales trainer or a marketing trainer, where my background came from to start with. And we decide that we would rather not work for somebody else. And so we're going to start a business, which means that we have begun the clock on a brand new technical skill, that of being a business owner, which means learning to sell and market if you've never sold and market before, learning to advertise or how advertising works, managing cash flow, understanding our finances, the financials. If we're not an accountant or bookkeeper, how the accountants and the bookkeepers have come back and said, hey, your business is doing really well or it's not doing so well. Managing our time. How many people have lists? And I'm going to hold up my book for a moment. How many people in a hurry create lists and reams of stuff like this? Well, that's actually really constraining, really squeezing to us as well. So if we've never learned how to manage the way we put our time together, that could be terribly devastating and deflating to us as we run businesses. And then, of course, how to plan for a business. How do I know that I'm doing the right things? So we're learning a technical skill. We're learning how to do a thing, and that's to run a business. So we have to make the business itself run really simple, really few things. And for businesses in a pandemic or anywhere else where the marketplace squeezes, crushes us, squishes us down, just a few elements. So you ready to write? Here it is. Cash flow. I either need to know how much money I've got, how much is coming in, and how much I'm going to spend right now in the next couple of days, in the next week. If I know how much I've got in the bank, I know how much is going to go out and how much I think I can find or is reasonable to find this week, then I can make a really good guess or informed decision on how long the money's going to last. You go, well, Mitch, this is simple. Well, no, it's not. Our grandparents or great-grandparents or even our parents, depending on how old we are, had a skill set that most of us actually don't possess today. And that's balancing a checkbook, which means taking the amount of money we got in the bank, writing a check, taking it off the bottom, and knowing exactly how much I've got next, and then usually lining it up with our payroll. In other words, when we get our paycheck from our employer. So I take out my checkbook, I go to buy my groceries, I write a check, and then I take that amount and I subtract from the amount I've got in my bank account. And then my bills roll in, and I pull out my checkbook and I write a check for the amount of my bills, and I subtract that down from the amount that I've got, and here we go. And I've got this running total of money that comes in or out of my account. That's a skill that we need in business, and that largely we have disappeared because we think that relying on this is going to help us, when in reality what we do is we've lost the ability to do something really, really simple, which is just track our money. I have this much money right now. This much is going to come out, and I need to put this much in so that I can keep going week in and week out. If you do this, this is a proven method, both big and little companies, for long-term sustained survivability and then growth. Why growth? Some of the largest and most successful companies on the planet preserve cash first. They don't let their accountant tell them what the business is doing, or they're a team of accountants, that the business is doing really well or it's doing terrible. No, how much money do we have and how much can we hold on to? In fact, a company, I keep holding up my phone, like Apple, at one time had preserved so much cash. I'm having to use unearned income as cash flow during this time when many of my clients are new to training virtually. Is this even legal? Is it dangerous? How do I move forward once we are able to open again? Wow, potent. Let me come back to that in a moment. Absolutely. Happy to lend some thoughts to that. So Apple preserved enough money, physical money. You could go to the bank, pull it out, put it in a big pile on a pallet, to buy their six next biggest competitors in cash. So they go to the bank, pull out enough money to buy their competitors, which at one time included Samsung, right? So if Apple's going to do it, why shouldn't we? And of course, if you need to preserve cash, don't buy a brand new Apple phone right now, because chances are cash flow is a little tight for you. So cash flow, first of all, manage your cash flow and organize it really well. Next, understand what is the most important areas that you need to spend time on. If I'm going to sell, if I'm going to market, if I'm going to find clients, take care of clients, get paid by clients, right now in the midst of a pandemic, probably the best place to be spending your time. Well, Mitch, a lot of people don't have money, but that's okay. Does it mean that you still can't start the conversation? Does it mean that you can't be reaching out and making inroads? Does it mean that I can't be going to all of my existing clients and customers, whether they've got money or not, and continuing to strengthen those relationships? Because inside of that time component, we go to where it should be spent. Sales and marketing. I gotta run it. I gotta do the banking. I gotta handle my payroll. I gotta deal with my employees. I gotta take care of myself. I spend 10, 12, 14 hours a day. You're telling me that I should really just squeeze it down to only trying to find the next client and customer or getting to market? Well, yeah, actually, you should. If your business is little and there's 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 of you, then as the business owner, you need to be spending the bulk of your time finding the new ones, attracting the new ones, making sure your staff know how to do their job and leaving them alone to do it. And then, of course, managing your cash flow and your finances. So we want to manage cash flow. We want to be better with our time in that we've just got a few functions we want to focus on. When we sell and market, we want to make sure that when we're pointed out into the world, that it's our best foot forward. What do people need to hear about us? But more importantly, what do they need? Not what do I think they should know so they're going to buy, but what are they going to need? What are they going to genuinely be confused over, elated, or are they going to need to make decisions as their businesses and lives move forward? And then lastly, a plan, a really simple plan, one sheet of paper that says, I'm here now, and in 3 months, 6 months, a year, I think I can go to here if all of these things line up, if all of these actions or these goals that I'm going to work towards kind of set up. So for businesses in the midst of what we got right now, we just have 5 parts. I got cash flow I got to measure. I got to sell and market all the time. I've got to manage my time a little better just to focus on a few of these functions. And I'm going to have a plan or a sheet of paper somewhere so I can measure, test. Because if I spend the bulk of my day on this, then I'm only learned early on in my economics development career there are 3 business skill sets. Absolutely. Great point. Great analogy. And some of those skill sets are always fundamental, critical basics, right? And to go back to where I started at the beginning, this is technical skill. There's no magic formula to business. It is, again, 3 business skill sets, 5 things that you've got to focus on, 4 quadrants in business. When I sell, I've got a value proposition. Second is financial. And yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know what I've got. I know what's going on with my financial structure, and then I know what's going on. Typically, when you look at 3 business skill sets, then it usually has to do with any of the people capital you've got in the business as well. So a great analogy, great way to put it coming into business. So for me, I just got 5 parts, 5 cornerstones, and I can take a sheet of paper, and every day I can write down in the top, how much money do I have right now, and what bills am I going to pay next, and where do I think I'm going to have money coming back in. Then I could write down, what am I going to spend the bulk of my time on today? What am I going to do? Am I finding new clients? Am I talking to all my existing clients, whether they're paying or not? Am I dealing with outdated or older clients? Exactly. And marketing. No one is an expert in all 3, so find people to help you. Absolutely. Absolutely great point. What you have to not master, but what you have to have a fundamental grasp of. In other words, you not just know the basics, but you know the fundamentals. In other words, you can understand it from one side to the other, is your cash flow. What is going on with my actual money in the business? And let your accountant or bookkeeper handle the financial welfare of your business. Because if your cash flow grows, the financial health of your business will increase. If I get really good at organizing the way I spend time on my business, not in it. So what I do every day is time in my business. When I can plan, direct, grow, sell, market, etc., then I'm working on my business. And if I can always find a little bit of time, even if it's a small amount, to focus on where I'm at and where I'm going to and make sure the business is pointed in the right direction, then that's another fundamental that I must do. Sales and marketing. Sales and marketing for the little business is often the same. The bigger the business gets, the more we start to separate those. But they are 2 essential elements. Sales is, who am I talking to now to make money in the next 30 days? Marketing is setting up the business and getting the business to talk about itself long term. So if I'm marketing or advertising and I'm expecting that I'm going to get paid now, we've got that a little backwards. We need to be continually reaching out to people. So as a small business owner, having a practice or a behavior where every week and maybe daily, I'm dealing with potential new clients, current clients, former clients, to find out what made them happy, what didn't, and how we can regain their business or trust, or how to get referrals. There's sales. Marketing is getting my business to talk about itself when I'm not in the room. Now, bigger businesses, we start to separate those. And to go to the commentary that's coming down here, that's right, 3 business skill sets. You don't have to be an expert, but you have to be good enough to know how you're going to measure success. If we can measure success, then I can give the job to somebody else. I can hire a marketing partner or hire somebody in my business to handle marketing. I can bring in a salesperson and tell them how we measure success. I know that empirically we have to talk to 10 people to get 3 to be interested, to have 1 to buy. So if we need 3 sales a week, I need you to find 30 fresh people to talk to every week, so that we could potentially find those 3 sales overall. And then we review on a regular basis. So skill sets that are fundamental and are universal are also the same ones that mean that we never fail. If I'm measuring cash flow, and even if it's incremental, I can get it to increase, then long-term, my business is not only going to survive, but thrive and grow. If I can spend time working on my business, then in other words, plan, direct, grow what's happening next, then I'm going to survive, thrive, and grow. If I sell and market every day, and for little businesses, there's a rule, call it a non-negotiable rule. Sell every day. The next one, focus 80% of your resources on the 2 to 3 things that are going to make you the most profit, the most money, the most keep away. If I could sell one thing for $1,000, but I keep 10, but if I sell something for $100 and keep 90, I need to sell more $100 objects that keep me $90 than I need to sell $1,000 things to keep 10. So you have to focus on the stuff that's going to keep the most money in your pocket, not give you the highest revenue at the end of the day. And lastly, write it down. Put it down in a plan. So these 5 parts just go into 4 areas of business: your money, the way you organize time, the structure of the business, and then your long-range planning. If you focus on those, the business becomes bulletproof, and then you eliminate failure, because failure is universal. 97% of businesses fail in 10 years. 87% fail in the first 3. That number does not dip significantly in the middle. In fact, it climbs, it drops, and then it steadily climbs up to year 10 where it's 97 out of 100. So if you don't want to be 97 out of 100, focus on your cash flow, sell every day, market the living hell out of your business. And if you don't know how to do it, there's where you start to spend some money. Make sure to spend more time working on your business than in it, and have a plan, even if it's one piece of paper, to show you where all of these are, and if they're improving, and if they're not, then that's where you make decisions today to change that, so that sales or marketing or cash flow or the way I'm organizing time to plan and grow my business starts to improve. If you do, you're still going to be standing in 12 months, pandemic or no. If you don't, unemployment is pegged at conservatively 30% or 50 or 60%, depending on segment. Which is it? Do you want to be 1 in 2 waiting for unemployment, or do you want to be 1 in 3 out of 100 that in 10 years is still here? The choice is yours.
Dude, now I know why you're a savage in business. Like
Thank you.
that, I could comprehend. Like that was perfect. Got it. Noted. I mean, I have like notes. Like I've written all these notes already. I'm like, okay. And you know who I'm going to be reaching out. I got your Facebook now.
Boom. Bring it. Absolutely. And so, I mean, a great next statement. I know you guys are going to ask this. So find me on social. Yes, I have a website, mitchcamage.com, but it's much easier to reach me on social media. On Facebook, Mitch Camage Official. And if somebody could pop that up after, that'd be awesome. On LinkedIn, /Mitch Camage. Sensing a theme? Twitter, Mitch Camage. Instagram, Mitch Camage. So you're going to find me.
Following your own plan. You're keeping it really simple. It's all across the board. Easy
all
to
across the board. And the only thing different is on Facebook, it's Mitch Camage Official. That's my business page. Why? My personal professional profile is /Mitch Camage. So you're not going to go wrong just typing in facebook.com/Mitch Camage. Guess what? You're going to find me, and I'm happy to talk. I am here to help business owners, 1, get out of their own way, and 2, make their businesses run really simple. Because take the thing that's going to cause you the most frustration, shove it the hell out of the way, and go back to focusing on living, as opposed to spending all day, every day focused running a business that likely is going to make you miserable because you don't have the systems that are going to run in a way to make sure that you got money, you can enjoy your time, and go back to what's important. Because whatever you're doing for business is not as important as living. It's that simple.
I'm so with you on that. For sure. The other thing too, of course, that I'm going to say it again, is at the bottom of the screen. If you have not gone and hopped on over to bluetalks.com/experience and registered with your email, I recommend that you go do that, because this way we will get all of the information that all our speakers have shared to you even after the week is up. So again, it's bluetalks.com/experience. Hop over, register with an email, and we got you.
Right there.
It's right there. You're right. He's got it.
It's right there. It's right under. You can't miss it.
Corey, do we have any questions for Mitch?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I had myself on mute so I wouldn't be making any sounds in the background. What I was going to say as well is also it's pretty easy and quick to share too. So this is one of these events that don't keep the secrets to yourself. Don't keep this knowledge to yourself. We all grow together.
Sure.
Abundancy. So yeah, so right below the video, if you just click share and you can share it to your timeline or group, we would love that. Mitch, there is a question that came in that I wanted to pose to you, and I'll just add one little thought on it as I read you the question. But it's from Rhonda Huff, and it was the question that you said you'll come back to later, which is about, I'm happy to use under cash flow. Is it illegal? Is it dangerous? How do I move forward once we're able to open again? And I'm just going to add, to my knowledge, I've never heard of being illegal, but as far as dangerous, you guys may have heard about Live Nation, the ticket company. What they did is they book all the bands, and then all of a sudden when all their concerts were canceled, the government went after them saying, we want you to give this money back, because what they do is they invest that money into other things. and they say that it takes a lot of money to run the business, but the government doesn't care. So they're saying you got to give these people their money back. And so the dangerous side for them is they said they can't afford to do it. So this might actually put them into a bankruptcy situation. But anyway, Mitch, I'll let you tackle it, but that's just the story that came to my mind.
You know, Corey, that is absolutely apt to this answer. So it's there's a couple of conditions that you're going to want to understand. First of all, how is your contract position with your clients? Secondly, what is their life cycle like? In other words, what is the viability of them staying standing? If we're talking about using unearned income, in other words, leveraging invoicing, for example, factoring on them, taking it and using it as a leverage if I'm going to borrow from a lending institution or whatever it is, or just taking, now, is it unearned or unrealized? If it's unearned, it means that it's happening in the future. That's tough because you're leveraging future gains. And if we have a 30 to 50% failure rate in corporations, think about having 30 or 50% of whatever that unearned income is disappearing. If you can make an informed decision from there that I'm going to risk a little bit of it moving it forward, that needs to be a very conscientious, a very black and white decision.
Oh, we just lost Mitch.
Oh, what happened?
I have no idea.
I'm trying to respond and my head's here.
I'll tackle this for another second here if you want. Ilyse, did you want to send Mitch a message to see if he can log right back on, just where he's mid-sentence?
Sure, yeah.
So, Rhonda, I'll sort of tackle this a little bit as well, just while Mitch is coming back on. And I think as well, you're referring to a situation where you've had clients that have paid you, and Mitch was saying that too, but in advance for work that you haven't had a chance to perform yet. And again, I don't think there's anything, I've never heard of it being illegal, but it's, they may have pre-purchased something and you have to deliver it in the future. So I think what Mitch was saying is the risk of if they go out of business, but I don't know if that factors into you, because if they go out of business, I don't know what would happen there if they came back to you for that money. But it's one of those things where it's just, you run a risk that if something happens in, let's say, 6 months, and you're supposed to deliver something, let's say for Ilyse or something, I'll use that example. Let's say Ilyse has purchased something for, he disappeared again. It's so weird. If Ilyse, let's say Ilyse purchased something from you, a package from you, Rhonda, and you're going to deliver to her in 6 months, and what you're saying is, I have that revenue and I have that money sitting there, and because of the uncertainty of what's going on and the lower revenue coming in, I'm having to use some of that cash flow. I hate to say it this way, but I think a lot of businesses do that. And so I don't necessarily know that it's illegal, because it could be different in different states. But what I will say, the danger of it, of course.
In the States, Corey, you're in Canada, right?
Yeah, but I'm saying she's in the States. Rhonda's in the States. So
right, okay.
I don't know the danger of it for Rhonda in the States, but I don't think it's illegal, but it's just the question of, is it dangerous?
Oh.
I don't know what's going on with his connection. But I don't know that. I think it's just, Rhonda, just to finish that, I think it's just dangerous, because if something happens, those people come back and say, I need that money back, and you've already spent it. Then you're in a situation where, how do you produce that money that's gone now?
And it depends on what the money was, what you have the money for, right? If it's a service, if it's a product, I don't know what line of business she's in.
I'm pretty sure it's a service. So let's see here. She said it's packages that people have purchased but aren't training right now, so we owe them the sessions. My clients are loyal and all plan to come back. I won't go to business. I just don't know how long it'll take to break even.
Session packages. I'm thinking like Amazon delivers packages. So
no,
I wasn't clear on the packages. Sorry about that.
It would be like if you deliver tapping packages and people bought 5 packages, and then they're going to use them 6 months from now. And with all this happening, no revenue coming in, the fear is, or you're going, okay, well, I have to dip into that. And that's what she's having to do. And she's just saying, is it dangerous or legal? And to me, like I said, the only danger is if the client came back and said, I want the money back, and you didn't have it. To me, that's the danger you're on.
You mean flip your script coaching packages? Yeah.
And Mitch, I'm going to try to bring him back on here, but I think Mitch would agree, even whether it's dangerous or illegal, I would say a large majority of companies do it, is what I would say. So I'm going to let Mitch come back on. Fingers crossed this time.
Some companies also invite people to purchase shares and memberships before they even have their products and services available. So, I mean, there's different ways of approaching business.
So, Mitch, I'll let you finish your thoughts on that. Like I said, I don't think it's illegal in any state that I know of, but it's just the danger of if they ask for the money back.
I was able to hear all of it, and I'm not sure why we were having a right in the middle of technology, but hey, there it is. So anything to do where you factor, leverage, or borrow against future needs to be an eyes wide open decision to make, unless you are publicly traded, or let's say part of your bylaws or operating governance inside of your business specifically prohibits this from happening. If you're a sole, or you're in a small partnership, or whatever it is, everything needs to be made eyes wide open. It is non-negotiable. What is going to be my exact risk factor, and then you need to decide on comfortability. This is now investing with your business's financing, which is leveraging for the future, where as informed as you are, as great the decisions are, and if you're, I don't know, a school of Rule 1 investing with Phil Town, doesn't matter. Do you believe that you're a great manager, you've got a great moat, and you've got a great process and a community where you think that that's therefore, then you're making an eyes wide open risk analysis on your own business. Otherwise, treat it like prospecting and investing. If you're going to do it, it can only be a small percentage of whatever it is that you've got. You have to be okay with waking up tomorrow and it's not there, and you have to understand what the consequences are. So consider it like investing, not leveraging or growing your business. Because if you're using unrealized or unearned earnings, that can bury you in a hurry. So you have to treat it like risk investing, which is, a lot of financial advisors or planners will tell you, don't take risk capital unless it's, maybe 5 or 10% of your total portfolio. Find a threshold that's going to be comfortable with you, but you have to do it by understanding all of what is the potential outcome and risk. And you have to be able to live with the consequences and say to yourself, likely this isn't going to work. And then work like hell to make it work, but likely it's not going to work, and I'm okay with losing. Otherwise, you're likely set up for failure.
And sorry, not to interject, Mitch, I was going to say, and I think what you're saying is that, because you're looking at this from a business perspective, when you approach businesses of survival, what we know what the laws of average say, that how many businesses will go out of business in a certain amount of years. And you're saying you need to go into this, if you want to be one of those businesses that's still around, saying what's practical here and what's going to make the most sense for my business. And then I think what she's saying is, she's right now, it's just one of those scenarios where clients can't buy from her based on the nature of her business, but they pre-bought stuff. So she's having to lend into that right now. And I think what you're saying is just be careful how much you go into that, because if they come back and say, I need that back, then could that sink your business? Am I correct?
Have a no refund policy.
Yeah, I guess.
No refund policies are great, but once again, based on state, provincial, or national laws, is going to depend how your refund policy and what it is that you're tangibly turning over to another human being, right? Absolutely. So be eyes wide open. Must be. It's black and white. Here's everything that's here. Here's my list of pros. Here's my list of cons. If your pros outweigh your cons and you're willing to accept that risk, do so. If not, if you are at least at all uncomfortable, then it has to be no. From the business coach, I'm saying it must be no. It can't be, I don't know, I think I can live with this. No, if you go to sleep at night, wake up in the morning, still go, I don't know, then the answer has to be no, because the risk tolerance is too high. Now, if you've set all this up and all your ducks in a row and you're going, I think it's reasonable in the next 60, 90, 120 days, I'm going to continue to sponsor and inspire, pre-selling packages, books, information, whatever else that might be, then of course. But make sure it is eyes wide open. I understand what my risk factors are and how much of that I'm willing to leverage to keep myself moving.
Awesome.
We are going to have to come to a beautiful close.
Mm-hmm.
I am the timer.
Absolutely.
Mitch, you're awesome. I dig your vibe. I like your energy. Like, it was a little bit like your picture's very savage and business looking, but your vibe is just so chill and fun and clear. You're very clear, and I like you're right to the point. So I appreciate the nuggets and the mind seeds that you shared with me personally today. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. And guys, you guys have a Corey, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just got to add one last thing. I wanted to give a shout out to Rhonda asking this question, because I will say, and maybe you'll agree, Mitch, maybe you won't, but even just her asking this question puts her ahead of most entrepreneurs, because most entrepreneurs would just blow through that under in cash and then say, oh, what do I do now? And just the fact that she's saying, is it okay that I'm doing it, tells me she knows her numbers.
Yeah, she's trying to be very conscientious, and you're right. You're right on. Absolutely.
Cool. Awesome. Always a pleasure, my friend. I so appreciate you. He truly is the savage in business. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for wearing the shirt, since I mentioned you as being the savage and beast in business. And of course, till next time.
You got her. Hey, guys, have a great day.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Awesome. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so.